Last time we split forgiveness into two kinds, the decision you make and the feeling that slowly follows. And we ended on two letters from Worthington's method, commit and hold, the C and the H of reach. But we skipped the engine, the first three letters, R, E, and A, the part that helps move the feeling. So today we'll finish the model, and then we turn it on the hardest target there is, yourself. One example to carry it. A friend you trusted talked about you behind your back, and you found out. You already decided to forgive them, but the sting won't leave. Here's how. REA can help you clear it. R is recall the hurt. It's not what people expect. You don't skip the pain, you don't rehearse the trauma, you face it. Most people try to forgive by minimizing. It wasn't that bad, I'm over it. That isn't forgiveness, that's burying it alive. Worthington says recall it honestly. Look straight at what happened and at how much it actually hurt. But with two rules. Don't cast yourself as the pure victim, and don't turn them into a monster. Because the moment they become a monster, forgiveness is impossible. Monsters don't get forgiven, people do. So you hold it all as true at once. They hurt me, it mattered, and they're still a flawed human being, not a villain. E is empathize. This is the engine of the entire thing. This is the step that actually melts the resentment. Worthington uses a technique for it. Picture an empty chair in front of you. Sit the person who hurt you in it. Say everything. Pour out the hurt, the anger, all of it. Don't hold a word back. Then the hard part. Get up, sit in their chair, and become them for a minute. Answer as them. Why might they have done it? What were they afraid of? What were they carrying that day? What happened to them in their childhood that causes them to act out at others? Again, we aren't creating excuses, we're creating a clearer picture. And we're talking about cognitive empathy, not emotional or even compassionate empathy. Maybe your friend was insecure. Maybe they were jealous. Maybe trying to fit in with people who made them feel small. None of that makes it okay. Empathy is not an excuse, it's understanding. They're very different things. But something shifts when you finally see the frightened person under the betrayal. The resentment loosens its grip. And you don't have to reach all the way to love. Sometimes just empathy or a flicker of compassion is enough to start the thaw. A is the altruistic gift, and it reframes the whole act of forgiving. Forgiveness isn't something the other person earns. It's not a prize for a good apology. The apology may never even come. It's a gift, given freely because you choose to, not because they deserve it necessarily. And here's how Worthington unlocks it. Remember a time you hurt someone, and when they forgave you anyway. Remember how that felt, the relief, the gratitude, the weight lifting clean off your chest. You've been handed that gift before. The altruistic step is choosing to pass it forward. Not really for them, but because you know firsthand exactly what it sets free. Then the two we covered last time. Commit, you mark the forgiveness, write it down, make it a real moment, and hold on. When the old feeling flares back up, you remember, I already gave this gift. This is just the echo of the past. Reach, R-E-A-C-H. Recall, empathize, altruistic gift, commit, and hold. That's the full path to forgiving someone else, something that they don't teach you in school. But now the hard part, forgiving yourself. Remember in the last video when we said you can forgive someone and never reconcile, keep the door closed, stay at a safe distance? With other people, reconciliation is optional. You can fully forgive someone you'll never speak to again. But when the person you're forgiving is yourself, reconciliation isn't optional. It's the entire point. Because you can't keep your distance from you. You can't close the door and walk away. You have to live inside this person. The research is clear on this. Genuine self-forgiveness requires an internal reconciliation. You can't just decide you're done and keep treating yourself like the enemy. That's a ceasefire that never holds. The goal is to feel at home in your own skin again, to stop bracing every single time you remember. That's what makes it harder than forgiving anyone else. There's no door to close, only a relationship that you're forced to rebuild. But here's the trap, and the literature has a name for it: pseudo self-forgiveness. That's letting yourself off the hook. It wasn't really my fault. They had it coming. I've moved on. Feels like relief, but it skips accountability entirely. And that isn't forgiveness. It's an escape hatch. Genuine self-forgiveness does the harder thing. It says, I did this. It was wrong, and I own it fully. And then it makes the crucial split. What I did was bad, but I am not bad. The act is not the entire person. You hold the accountability, you make repair where you can, and then, only then, you set the punishment down. Because endless self-punishment helps no one. It doesn't undo the harm, it just adds a second casualty, you. This is why self-forgiveness sits at the center of real recovery. You can't build a life on a foundation you're still at war with. So run the same model inward, recall it honestly, empathize with the person you were, scared, limited, doing their best with what they had. Give yourself the gift you've handed other people, commit to it, and hold on when the shame comes knocking again. Forgive others and you set the resentment down. Forgive yourself and you finally come home.